one so you'll stop playing games.
Now, I would let him go unless you want to make medical history. Good choice.
When Arthur Fonzarelli became one of the most beloved characters in TV history, a leather-jacketed icon who turned a small supporting role into the cultural heart of a hit show. From his effortless swagger to his famous "Hey," Fonzie wasn't just a sitcom character, he was a phenomenon that defined an era. Yet behind the scenes, Henry Winkler was far more thoughtful about the role than many might assume. He carefully crafted Fonzie's image, avoided overexposure, and even imposed strict boundaries on how and where the character could appear. Today we're looking back at the Fonz, Happy Days, and the #1 rule Henry Winkler was forced to follow. The birth of Happy Days.
We got company, a biker.
Where's a biker? It's a falcon.
No,
Hi. Something I could do for you? Oh, well, I guess not.
The origins of Happy Days trace back to a moment when nostalgia for the 1950s was sweeping the country. Gary Marshall, a writer and producer with a flair for family-friendly comedies, had pitched the idea of a sitcom centered on a wholesome Midwestern family set against the backdrop of post-war American. Initially, networks weren't overly enthusiastic. The pilot, which featured Ron Howard as Richie Cunningham and Anson Williams as Potsy, aired as part of Love American Style in 1972. It might have ended there had it not been for a pair of cultural phenomena that reignited America's fascination with the 50s. The Broadway success of Grease and the blockbuster triumph of George Lucas's American Graffiti reminded television executives that audiences were ready to embrace a romanticized view of the decade. By the time Happy Days officially premiered in January 1974, the timing was perfect. With Richie as the earnest teen protagonist, his parents, Howard and Marion, represented wholesome middle America, and friends like Ralph and Potsy provided comic relief. Within a few episodes, viewers couldn't take their eyes off a supporting character who was written as a sidekick but radiated far more presence than anyone expected, a tough biker named Arthur Fonzarelli. Henry Winkler lands the role.
All right, hey, come on, man. This dance is on me.
Henry Winkler was hardly the first actor considered for the role of Fonzie. Casting calls initially leaned toward taller, blonde actors who fit a more traditional James Dean mold. Winkler, a relatively short actor with dark hair and a strong stage background, didn't fit the physical image Gary Marshall originally had in mind. But he came prepared with a different interpretation of the character, one that emphasized confidence over posturing. At his audition, instead of rolling cigarettes into his sleeve or slicking back his hair like every other candidate, Winkler tried something subtle. He reached towards his head as if to comb his hair, then paused, smirked, and stopped mid-motion, satisfied that it was already perfect. That single gesture caught Marshall's attention, encapsulating everything the character needed to be. He wasn't a cartoonish greaser trying too hard to look cool, he simply was cool. Producers hesitated at first, uncertain that Winkler had the right look, but his delivery of improvised catchphrases like "ay" and "whoa" convinced them otherwise. No one could have anticipated how much Fonzie would grow. What began as a minor supporting character quickly evolved into the breakout star of the series. By the end of the first season, it was clear Winkler had created something special. The rise of the Fonz.
Make them signs.
Oh, it's not a house.
It's not a house. I'll see you later, Ned.
Audiences fell in love with Fonzie almost instantly. He wasn't just the leather-jacketed rebel who hung around Arnold's drive-in. He was the ultimate combination of toughness and heart. Despite his gruff exterior, he became Richie's loyal mentor and friend, often teaching lessons about loyalty, responsibility, and kindness. His catchphrases and signature thumbs-up gesture entered the American lexicon, and his magnetic presence made him the most popular figure on the show. The show's writers and producers recognized his appeal and gradually shifted the spotlight. While Richie was still the central figure, Fonzie became the one viewers tuned in to see. In fact, ABC executives realized the show's ratings were tied closely to Winkler's performance. They even had his character move in with the Cunningham family to keep him more central to the action. Fonzie's influence extended beyond television. Merchandise flooded stores, lunchboxes, dolls, t-shirts, and even pinball machines featuring his likeness. Winkler's character became a symbol of cool for an entire generation, and his appeal transcended the sitcom format. He was referenced in pop culture, imitated in playgrounds, and became a guest of honor at parades and public events. Protecting the Fonzie's image.
Oh, no, I don't think you understand. See, now I'm gonna save you for last, and what we're gonna do alone, so sit down.
You're the greatest, Fonz.
See,
Listen, will you lock up when you're done?
sure. Now go dribble your heart out.
The 70s were a time when popular TV characters often crossed over into commercials, variety shows, and special appearances. Networks and sponsors were eager to squeeze every possible ounce of publicity from successful properties. Fonzie, as one of the most recognizable characters in television, was in high demand. But Henry Winkler made a conscious choice. He would not allow Fonzie to be trivialized by overexposure. Behind the scenes, he was protective of Fonzie's cool image. He insisted the character maintain a sense of dignity, even in comedic scenarios. One of the earliest rules he fought for was that Fonzie should never be shown acting cowardly or foolish. The character could be humorous, but never at the expense of his core cool factor. He also set boundaries on how Fonzie interacted with other characters, ensuring he was never reduced to a simple punchline. Winkler also avoided having Fonzie appear outside the world of Happy Days. While other characters and actors might guest star in specials or cross over into other programs, Winkler kept Fonzie's presence tightly contained. This not only preserved the mystique of the character, but also prevented audiences from growing tired of him. The jump the shark moment.
There he goes!
One of the most infamous episodes of Happy Days involved Fonzie donning water skis and literally jumping over a shark during a trip to California. The 1977 storyline has since become synonymous with the phrase jumping the shark, shorthand for the moment a television show resorts to desperate gimmicks to maintain interest. The irony is the episode didn't actually mark the decline of Happy Days. Ratings remained strong for years afterwards, and the series went on for another 164 episodes. But the scene was so outrageous, it became emblematic of the excesses of long-running shows. What's less known is the stunt came about because of Winkler's real-life talent. His father had encouraged him to showcase his water skiing abilities on screen. Winkler pitched the idea, and the writers ran with it. He performed much of the stunt work himself, demonstrating his athleticism. Happy Days behind the scenes.
I found my thrill.
Oh, who gives
You want to dance first or go right out to the heavy stuff? Go right out to the heavy stuff.
How do you feel? I gotta take a...
We were doing the same thing 20 years ago tonight.
Did you sneeze then?
While Fonzie was the breakout star, it remained an ensemble show that depended on chemistry. Ron Howard, already a veteran actor from The Andy Griffith Show, anchored the series as Richie. The cast developed a strong camaraderie off-screen, which translated to on-screen relationships. Gary Marshall, as showrunner, maintained a collaborative atmosphere. He encouraged improvisation and let actors shape their roles, which was part of the reason Fonzie grew in prominence. Winkler, for example, contributed catchphrases and mannerisms that became integral to the character. But life on set wasn't always smooth. The cast faced the usual pressures of long production schedules, and creative disagreements occasionally arose. Still, the longevity of the series, 11 seasons in total, was a testament to the talent of its ensemble. The number one rule Winkler lived by.
You could do it.
No, come on. First of all, I'm out of practice. And second of all, it takes schooling and,
Well, you went to the Yale School of Drama, Henry. Come on, you know you can do it.
At the heart of Henry Winkler's stewardship of Fonzie was one unshakable rule: he would never appear as the character outside the world of Happy Days. There was only one exception: Sesame Street. Winkler recalled that when the beloved children's program invited him to appear as the Fonz to help teach the letter A, he couldn't say no. It was the only time he ever broke his rule, because the opportunity to contribute to a show that had entertained and educated millions of children felt worthwhile. He later described it as a delight, though he admitted he wished he'd been able to film on the actual Sesame Street set instead of hosting the segment from the Happy Days studio. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think Henry Winkler was right to protect Fonzie so carefully? Let us know in the comments section below.